It's my second belt. I've already got this one.
I'm the king of Dublin. I'm the world champion.
You're the king of Dublin, yeah? You're looking at him.
Conor McGregor, a name that once dominated the UFC, the wild fighter who emerged from the octagon with stunning victories over legends, now finds himself knocked out by his own scandal, sweeping away both his reputation and the spotlight.
Day they arrested MMA fighter Conor McGregor. Here's CBS 4's Ty Russell.
He doesn't have anything on him, right?
From hurling a dolly at a bus carrying rivals, to landing a punch on an elderly man in a bar, to facing shocking legal allegations and a string of brash social media outbursts, McGregor has turned his own name into a bloody battlefield, paving the way for a self-inflicted downfall that has left the world stunned. So what happened? And why has this UFC madman fallen so fast? To find the answer, we might need to rewind to the day McGregor first stepped into the UFC, a broke plumber from Dublin, seemingly destined for obscurity. Yet, in the blink of an eye, he skyrocketed into a global phenomenon. With an unorthodox blend of karate, taekwondo, boxing, and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, McGregor crafted a chaotic yet lethal fighting style. His left leg kicked with the precision of a blade slicing through the air, while his left fist struck like thunder, capable of dropping anyone bold enough to stand across from him. But McGregor's ultimate weapon was never just his technique. It was the Predator's mindset, entering the octagon not to compete, but to dominate. And the crowds went wild. They didn't just admire his skill, they were captivated by his audacity, recklessness, and the brazen charisma that radiated from him. Every time he stepped out, the stands erupted with chants of "Notorious," like a fervent ritual. From that moment, McGregor became a living symbol for those who dared to dream big and challenge the world. From blue-collar workers in Ireland to Hollywood's elite, everyone was swept up in the McGregor storm, driving his fights to shatter pay-per-view records. From 800,000 buys at UFC 189 to 1.2 million at UFC 194, McGregor didn't just sell tickets, he sold the dream that a kid from nothing could rise to rule the world. The pinnacle of McGregor's career came in 2015 at UFC 194 when he faced Jose Aldo, the undefeated featherweight champion for nearly a decade. This wasn't just a fight, it was a statement. For months, McGregor had relentlessly provoked Aldo, vowing to knock him out in the first round.
I said, I am his daddy. Brazilian bitch.
And just as he promised, when the opening bell rang, a mere 13 seconds later, McGregor's left fist sent Aldo into unconsciousness. Las Vegas shook, and the world witnessed the crowning of a new king. McGregor stood there, championship belt over his shoulder, like an invincible warrior. Fans went wild, headlines flooded the news, and experts showered him with praise. Yet few realized that amidst this storm of adulation, the first cracks in McGregor's empire were already beginning to show. The cracks in McGregor's empire, once masked by dazzling glory, fully emerged on August 26, 2017 during the blockbuster boxing match against Floyd Mayweather at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It wasn't just a fight, it was a cultural earthquake, a mega event drawing 4.3 million pay-per-view buys, earning McGregor nearly $100 million in a single night. Overnight, he transformed from a UFC fighter into a global superstar, mentioned in the same breath as Ronaldo or Beyoncé. But the cost of that spotlight was a harsh reality McGregor couldn't escape. Facing McGregor that day was no ordinary fighter, but Floyd Mayweather, a boxing legend with an unblemished 49-0 record, a defensive master never once knocked out. Yet McGregor carried his signature bravado, strutting in lavish suits, flashing a smug grin, and unleashing a barrage of taunts, calling Mayweather a runner and vowing to finish him within 3 rounds. He transformed himself into Mystic Mac, the invincible prophet, even in a sport where he was an outsider. And the audience, captivated by the spectacle, bought into it. They bet on McGregor, they anticipated a historic upset. They believed the Irishman would shatter the rules of boxing.
You little snap hand. Boom!
Reality hit like a brutal slap. In the first 3 rounds, McGregor came out blazing, landing left-hand strikes that set the crowd ablaze. But it was a fleeting spark. While he burned energy on a flashy performance, Mayweather simply stepped back, observed, and waited. By the 10th round, the moment of truth arrived. McGregor, exhausted, was cornered, absorbing a barrage of counters from a true master. The referee stopped the fight, and McGregor, the proud prophet, fell. Not by knockout, but by sheer helplessness. It wasn't just a loss, it was a devastating blow to McGregor's colossal ego. He had dared to step into the boxing world with unmatched bravado and arrogance, and he had been defeated. But the deeper wound was that this fight changed him forever. Despite the loss, the massive payday and the glare of superstar fame consumed the fire that once made him unstoppable. McGregor was no longer the Crumlin kid grinding tirelessly in a cramped gym. He became a man living on multi-million-dollar yachts, partying in Ibiza, draped in lavish suits, and toasting proper 12 whiskey for the cameras. His discipline, the backbone of his career, was now mere fragments. With this shift, the public began to see the erosion. Fans who once hailed him as a king now mocked him coldly. Conor's just a rich guy now, not a fighter. Or he's only good at flashing cash. International media dubbed the Mayweather fight both the peak and the beginning of McGregor's decline. And they were right. Those small cracks that day were merely a harbinger of the storm that would sweep away a legend. The true death knell struck in October 2018 at UFC 2029. McGregor stepped back into the octagon with his trademark arrogance, loudly branding his opponent, Khabib, a coward, and vowing to crush him in mere minutes. For months leading up to the fight, McGregor had honed his provocation tactics to a razor's edge, taking trash talk to new heights. He didn't just target Khabib, he went after his family, religion, and Dagestani homeland. McGregor believed his sharp tongue could unravel Khabib's psyche, just as it had with Jose Aldo or Eddie Alvarez. But McGregor seemed to forget that Khabib was neither Aldo nor Alvarez. He was a disciplined machine, a warrior with a heart of steel and an unyielding will. The moment the bell rang, Khabib overwhelmed McGregor with relentless grappling power. In the second round, a sudden punch from Khabib sent McGregor crashing to the canvas, leaving the crowd stunned, unable to believe their eyes as the Notorious was completely dominated. By the fourth round, trapped in a suffocating choke, McGregor tapped out. That image, a man once deemed invincible, now helplessly defeated by Khabib, marked the moment the world realized the McGregor legend had crumbled. Khabib didn't just defeat McGregor, he exposed an illusion. He laid bare the lack of preparation, the erosion of discipline, and the unchecked arrogance. This loss was a blade that tore through the glossy facade, revealing a hollow McGregor like never before. The arena, once roaring with chants of Notorious, fell silent, punctuated only by explosive cheers for Khabib. On social media, a wave of mockery flooded in. "McGregor's done," the cold comments read. Meanwhile, news outlets unanimously called it the end of an era. But the greatest tragedy wasn't the defeat in the octagon, it was the truth that McGregor had brought this upon himself. His complacency and indulgence in luxury had transformed him from a warrior god into an ordinary man, easily crushed. If the losses to Mayweather and Khabib were jagged cracks in the fortress, McGregor's actions outside the octagon were the flames that burned his entire empire to the ground. The tipping point came at UFC 223. In a blind rage over his feud with Khabib Nurmagomedov, McGregor led a group in an attack on a bus carrying UFC fighters at the Barclays Center in New York. In front of dozens of cameras, he grabbed a metal dolly and hurled it at the bus window. The glass shattered, shards flying, injuring two fighters, including Michael Chiesa, who had to withdraw from his bout due to facial cuts. The incident sent shockwaves through the sport, prompting police intervention, and images of McGregor in handcuffs flooded global headlines. The Notorious icon, once igniting arenas with roaring chants, had transformed into a figure of chaos and disgrace. The public was stunned. Fans who once hailed him as a king turned their backs. "This isn't the Conor we knew," one Irish fan lamented on Reddit. "He's turned himself into a low-life thug." Even Dana White called it a despicable act and one of the most shameful moments in UFC history. McGregor claimed it was just mind games to hype the fight, but his excuses only fueled the outrage. To the public, the sharp-witted trash talk genius had become an unhinged figure, willing to destroy everything for his reckless ego. Some fans still defended him, arguing it was the Notorious boldness that built his legend. But most had turned away, and the hashtag McGregor began spreading across social media. A new prophecy, not from Mystic Mac, but from the very public that once idolized him. Yet the dolly-throwing incident wasn't the final blow. In August 2019, at the Marble Arch pub in Dublin, McGregor further demolished his empire by punching a 50-year-old man in the face. Simply because the man refused to try proper 12, the whiskey brand McGregor viewed as his pride and joy. The video of the incident spread like wildfire, incinerating the bad boy image McGregor had meticulously crafted. In the clip, he appeared aggressive, devoid of the wit or charm that once made him an icon. The public no longer saw him as a masterful provocateur, instead they saw a bully targeting someone defenseless. McGregor's hit rock bottom, fans remarked bitterly. From national hero, he's become an embarrassment to Ireland. From that point, McGregor's career plummeted uncontrollably. He lived recklessly, disregarding discipline and the law, as scandals piled up. A 2018 lawsuit alleging assault at a Dublin hotel, a 2019 incident in Miami where he smashed a fan's phone, and a 2021 accusation of attacking a DJ in Italy. Though many cases didn't lead to criminal convictions, each headline further tarnished McGregor's name. Throughout this spiral, McGregor tried to fight back, taking to social media to lash out at the media, proclaiming his innocence and calling reporters rats. But instead of regaining sympathy, he only deepened the public's disillusionment. No longer was he hailed as a legendary fighter, he was now labeled a professional litigant, a name synonymous with trouble rather than triumph. The fallout didn't just erode his reputation, it dragged his business empire into the abyss. Proper 12, the whiskey brand that once earned him hundreds of millions, was sold for $600 million in 2021. Yet, after the deal, McGregor was sidelined from promotional campaigns, a clear sign that even partners who once saw him as a money-making machine wanted no part of his scandal-tainted name. Reebok, Bud Light, and other major sponsors also pulled away, leaving McGregor's commercial empire in ruins. Once proud to be a global brand, a money-making machine, McGregor is now a castle of sand washed away by the tides of life, crumbled, fragile, and fleeting. Conor McGregor stands as a living testament to a timeless paradox. To reach the pinnacle, you need talent, ambition, and fearless drive. But to stay there, you need more discipline, character, and the ability to master yourself. McGregor didn't fall because he lacked skill or faced opponents too strong. What truly defeated him was his own unchecked ego, the blind belief that fame, wealth, and the crowd's adoration would forever be on his side. But the harsh truth is that glory never conceals mistakes. It only lulls people into a false sense of invincibility. And when the fall comes, the cost is exponentially greater. McGregor's story isn't just for fighters, it's a mirror for us all. In any field, whether academics, work, business, or everyday life, success is merely a starting point, not the finish line. When success arrives, it's easy to slip into the vortex of complacency, indulgence, and illusions of power. We start to think the principles that lifted us up are no longer necessary, that discipline can be replaced by bravado, that character can be overshadowed by the shine of achievements. But the reality is the opposite. At the peak, you must be more vigilant than ever, for that's where the winds of failure blow strongest. McGregor was once Ireland's pride, only to become its embarrassment. He was a brand worth hundreds of millions, only to turn into a name synonymous with scandal and disgrace. This shows that success is not eternal. It's fragile and fleeting without a foundation of character and discipline. A single fall doesn't just strip away glory, it erases trust, respect, and even a person's true worth. The greatest lesson here is this: don't let your ego become your enemy. The higher the success, the greater the temptations, and only humility, self-control, and discipline can keep you from losing yourself. A victory isn't measured by the money earned or the cheers received, but by your ability to hold fast to your principles, stay grounded, and preserve your integrity through challenges. Conor McGregor may have lost his shine, but his story echoes as a warning. Always beware of yourself. The greatest enemy of a champion or of any person is never the opponent out there, but the ego within.